The hit A&E series 60 Days In is back for season 7. This time, 7 ex-cons go undercover to help a new sheriff improve the Henry County Jail. Sheriff Reginald B. Scandrett here is here to give us a preview. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I got to see a preview of the very first episode, and all I can say is wow. The conditions, what you have to go through, what you're trying to achieve.
Well, I've been in the job for 33 years, approximately, but quite frankly, some of the things I saw here shocked the conscience with respect to the jail operations. And that's one of the reasons why I needed additional eyes to show me some of the things that, quite frankly, we would have never known, because a jail is a city within a city. I wanted to make sure that we got in and did what we call exploratory surgery to make sure that we can go in and get it right in terms of the expectations that I want up under my administration moving forward.
You have 7 ex-cons coming back in. Tell us a little bit about their journey, because everybody has anything from tax fraud to selling steroids to weapons charges. I mean, it runs the gamut right there. But talk a little bit about having those 7 come back in.
Well, one of my biggest things and my first goal, quite frankly, is recidivism. And I wanted to target these type of people that have had some challenges in their life, but have yet turned them around. And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to bring them in, because they had some institutional knowledge that we could use. And they can also influence while they were in some people that may be going to the left and may need to be put right back on the right track. And so I wanted to make sure we put a spotlight on that, and that people are people, and we should never throw out the baby with the bathwater. So that's one of the reasons specifically why we utilize the 7 ex-cons.
You have over 30 years of experience in jails and working here. But as far as COVID goes, I mean, obviously unprecedented with people having to go into quarantine and different conditions, and obviously a smaller workforce. I mean, that's not just in Henry County, but all over the country.
Well, it was extremely challenging. When we came in day one, the first week, we lost 2 employees that passed away from COVID complications. But we also saw that there was no policies and procedures with respect to the same. And so it was important that we came in and took a very hard dive and a hard look with respect to COVID. And we utilized our references with respect to our medical partners, and we made some decisions that I understand was challenging. But throughout that time frame, we have not lost one inmate because we took these type of precautions. And so I am proud of that. I know it was challenging during the time frame, but we had to take some, not only law enforcement perspective, but this entire country had to take some things that were new to change what we were accustomed to in our lives to make sure we in fact live.
Everyone's experience is different, but we have these 7 ex-cons coming back in. And I know one of, part of the conversation that was in the first episode is about them going back to their old ways, and were things going to tempt them. Talk a little bit about maybe the facility that, somebody might be in, and how that might rehab a person or might change their behavior, once they're out.
Well, and that was one of the challenges that I had. I did not want them to revert back to the things that they were familiar with at some point in their lives. And so, yeah, that is challenging. That's why we kept several eyes on them to make sure there was any shifts, any movements that was happening from a clinical perspective, that we could deal with that also in real time, because we did not want to damage or challenge from whence they had come. And so we kept a very close eye with respect to that. And yes, it was challenging. You will see some of that during the series, but it was for a specific purpose with respect to the quarantine and being locked down and things of that nature. And those type of things normally would challenge the mind, but it certainly challenged it during a pandemic.
Have you had calls from other facilities around the country, or especially, people looking for guidance as far as how to run a jail? Henry County is not the only one that needs help and assistance, but it's, places all across the country.
It is, particularly here with the Georgia Sheriff's Association. We are a close-knit group. It's 159 sheriffs that are here in the state of Georgia, and we share a lot of information back and forth. And I have talked to some sheriffs also outside of the state of Georgia with respect to some of the things that we may be doing that is innovative, or just taking a very hard look on where we are. The old folk used to say it is what it is. But from a professional standpoint, it should not remain that way. If we are with the levels of taking things to the next level of excellence, I think that we'll be fine.
And the final thing here, really quickly, with you having over 30 years of experience and obviously a very stressful and difficult position, but also getting threats on your life, especially, with your new position now, how do you keep focus?
Well, yet for the grace of God, there go I, number one. And number two, this is a calling for me. And oftentimes in a calling, when you accept the call, there are things that go along with it. I am honored to be the first African American sheriff here in the 200-year history of Henry County, but I'm more honored to be qualified. And being qualified and understanding where I am in this season, it's important to walk and at a level that is uncompromising to make sure that we finish the task so that the people behind us will be able to do it at a much easier level, but continue the task nonetheless.
Well, Sheriff, thank you so much for your time today. 60 Days In, season number 7, coming to us August 18th on A&E.